Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so starting out here. I hope you're able to hear me okay. There we go. That'll be better. All right, so thanks for coming to our kinesiology and education session. So I know you don't have a lot of time, so we're going to really briefly run through it here. I'll try and keep it brief yet informative. If you have questions, let me know through the Q&A section that you have there, and I'll be happy to answer those. um, as you can see here, we have a brief agenda, and I'm hoping you guys can get finished here within 20 minutes. So starting out, who am I? My name is Matthew Washkowski. I'm part of the student services team at St. Peter's College, along with Crystal Shutko. We work with students to begin their USask degree, and as such, we work with USask regularly to ensure that you are transitioning properly and are set up for success. So St. Peter's College is affiliated with the University of Saskatchewan, but just know I'm not an official representation of the College of Education or College of Kinesiology. We just work with them quite a bit. Students going to St. Peter's College or to the University of Saskatchewan are welcome to come and talk to us for more information because we do advise both. So starting off here, why students choose to study education? Well, there's a list here. It's the only education program in Saskatchewan to even be on the list of best educational programs in Canada. And I can verify it is a pretty good program here. We'll be talking about kinesiology after this. There's lots of pre-practicum field experience options. You can get some practical experience about what it means to be a teacher. There's options to study abroad or for international practicums. Students can specialize in 9 programs with education. So there's early years. So like, kindergarten to grade 3. There's middle years, there's secondary, or there's a combination of early and middle years. Then there's also some other stuff such as LTEP. So that's if you want to be like a Cree teacher or a French teacher. There's ITEP and SUNTEP for people of First Nations or Métis ancestry. And there's also music education and a kinesiology education for those looking for 2 degrees. Again, I'm just giving you a brief overview of the options that you have here. Here at St. Peter's College, we do offer an additional practicum experience for your first year that's not available elsewhere. So if you are interested in education, really good way to get some experience right off the bat is to maybe come and start at St. Peter's College. Again, just some extra options here. You have a total of 9. This does not encompass the entire list. Going on to what common careers there are as a College of Education student and as someone who graduates with a bachelor degree in education, there's quite a bit. A lot of people think that, oh, I have my education degree, I can now go be a teacher. There's a really big list of jobs that you can do as an educator. And that's just a short list that we have on there. These are really common employment opportunities. I'm an example of this. I have my Bachelor of Education. I now work in post-secondary education as an academic advisor and administrator. So there's quite a few options here. A lot of students, what we find is that they really get into the mindset of, I need to take, this to become a thisologist. I need to become I'm going to take education to become a teacher. I'm going to take it's not like nursing. With nursing, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to become a qualified licensed nurse with a lot of other degrees. You're really getting taught a wide variety of skills here. Understanding how people learn, difficulties in their backgrounds, how to communicate effectively, social emotional intelligence, crisis management. The list goes on and on. These skills are really helpful in securing a variety of career options outside of just being a teacher. Going on to kinesiology. Kinesiology is the study of the body, the study of movement. This is really physical education taken to a really top notch. With the University of Saskatchewan and with St. Peter's College, it is the most competitive direct entry college at the University of Saskatchewan. So if you're in high school right now or you have no prior university experience, this is the most competitive one. So you want to make sure your grades are up there. We'll talk about that in just a second here. This program is a great option just by itself, but if you're looking into some graduate level health programs, such as like medicine, physical therapy to become a physical therapist, nutrition, dentistry, and so on and so forth, this is a really good intro to get into those as well, because you're taking a lot of important classes that meet up with those medical sciences here. We do offer at St. Peter's College the first year of kinesiology as well. Your average class size will typically be around like 15 or 16 or so. Now going on to this Kin Ed combo. This is a new program with the University of Saskatchewan. So what's different here is that you get 2 degrees. So you get more for your buck here. In 5 years, you'll get 2 degrees. So if you are looking to become a teacher, that does up you immediately on the pay scale and gives you more qualifications as you go and seek employment. But if you're looking to do something else besides teaching, you'll still have 2 degrees and a lot more skills and a lot more experience to help you go out and secure employment and build a career with. There is an extended practicum with this. You can get a second teaching area, just like normal education. Again, the University of Saskatchewan is huge on Indigenous education. They're one of the leaders, if not the leader in the country in doing this. And there's really good facilities here. Going back here a little bit, as you can kind of see here with kinesiology itself at the main campus, you have a $33 million PAC center. That's your physical education center. And then with St. Peter's College, we have a completely renovated fitness center out here as well. If you've been for a tour, you've definitely been amazed. I do encourage you to come out for a tour as well. Something to note here, this Kin Ed combo here, if you're looking to become a phys ed teacher at high school, you actually can't major in that just with a Bachelor of Education. So if you're looking at, I want to teach phys ed or health at a high school level, this is a really good option for you to be able to do that. In fact, it might be the only option, to be completely honest with you. If you're looking at teaching, early years or middle years, there is a kinesiology, a physical education major or minor that you can do with that. Going into the jobs here of kinesiology, there's quite a few careers. I'll give you a list of common careers here in just a second. But what you kind of see right now, those are the 6 categories that a lot of these jobs kind of fit into. So there's health education, physical education, there's health and fitness and rehabilitation, there's cardiac rehabilitation, there's recreation and sports administration, there's a kinesiologist, and then there's athletics. So a common list of jobs here, if you're looking at doing something like kinesiology, is what you can kind of see on here. And of course, if you do the combined program, you can add in a lot or all of those teacher jobs into here as well. I'll give you a second just to take a look at this. But again, they all fall into those 6 categories that you just saw previously. And just so you're aware, the recording of this will be available on St. Peter's College's website afterwards. So if you want to come back and take a look, you absolutely can. So going on to the first year of university for both programs and just in general, first year is a really big jump for students. Going from high school to university is very, very big for a bunch of reasons. So we definitely help out with that transition. The University of Saskatchewan does a great job as well. We're just pretty blessed to be able to have small class sizes, so we kind of get to know everyone individually, which helps out a bit, we think, with the transition. So going on what you should probably know both in high school and as you're going through your first year. With education, you should decide on your teaching areas relatively early. We do work closely with first year students and with the University of Saskatchewan. And these are some things that we've noticed. Education students should have their teaching areas decided as they enter the first year of university, because you do have to pick 2. There's a big list, like whether you want to do biology or sciences or kinesiology or math or English or social sciences, so on and so forth. A really common combo is English and social sciences, or vice versa. So like English and history, for example. We recommend branching out of this, trying to take at least one of your teaching areas into something like a foreign language, or I guess a domestic language, so like Cree or French. Going into one of the sciences, going into a math, something that's in a little bit more demand in terms of hireability. It's just to make sure that you're able to go out and get a job much easier, for sure. Education students are expected to meet some professional accountability codes. You'll be briefed on that in September in your first year. So don't worry too much about that. There is something called the ESS, the Educational Student Society. So that's just a really good way to get involved, to make friends, to have a good experience, and to become a become a better teacher. They host professional development opportunities for students, which go in your co-curricular record, which is something you'll get when you graduate, something that is you get on top of your transcript. Something that's really important to notice, and a lot of university students don't know this, is at the end of your first year, you should have a 60% average or higher. That should be the minimum bar. You can technically pass all of your classes. Let's say you get a 52 in all of your classes, and you can still be required to discontinue from the program. So that's just something to really make sure you keep your eyes out on. Again, that's a really big issue we noticed that some students might have as they transition from high school to university. Oh, I got a 50, I'm fine. Not really. Going on to kinesiology here, it does have a bit of a heavier first year than, like a standard student might. And that's because you're taking, a couple biologies, you're taking a math, you might take a chemistry. So you'll have anywhere between 3 to 5 classes with labs attached to them. So it's just an extra like 10 hours, 15 hours a week in terms of time commitment on top of like what a normal student schedule might look like. The good news is all those labs, all the courses in your first year kinesiology and education too, but especially kinesiology, make it very flexible. So if you transfer your program, like, I decided this is not for me, I want to go and become a this, it will transfer quite well. And that's just because you're taking a lot of those common subjects. So in the first year of university, for almost every profession, I guess, except engineering, you're taking a list of common classes. So if you do end up transferring or changing your major or transfer to a different college, all or most of it will transfer. So you shouldn't have to worry about not graduating on time if you do that. Similar with education, you will want at least a 58% average at the end of your first year. Going on here really briefly into years 2, 3, and 4, and just some other stuff of the program. Run a little bit behind, so I'll briefly touch up on it. Education has a couple of internship options. Like I said, at St. Peter's, you will get an extra internship or practicum during your first year. Keep it on track is pretty important. If you choose to like change your major halfway through or whatever, that could have some consequences. You might not graduate on time. It is possible to get ahead with some spring and summer courses. And there's also a 16-week practicum involved in year 4. You can also choose to do a 6-week practicum at an international school as well. For kinesiology, there's lots of labs in year 2. You must take some classes in either biological sciences, biology, English, or math. You have to pick one of those 4 and kind of specialize a little bit extra. There's an exchange program in Australia. And again, kinesiology is a really good way to meet some of the requirements for medicine or dentistry or physical therapy and more. So it's really good that way. Going on to the requirements here, the admission requirements. For education, you need a science 30. So pick one of those 5. If you have more than one, that's great. You need a social science, so a history, social studies, or native studies 30. You need a 30 level language other than the English or a fine and performing arts. And then you need a foundations or pre-calc 30. The early admissions deadline is December 1st. So apply for that if you are thinking about education. You need an 80% average there, or you can do regular admissions. That's a 70% minimum average at February 15th. Something to keep in mind here for education specifically, but both programs is, that's the minimum bar. If there's enough applicants who are way above that, that average might go up. That's just their expected average. So just keep in mind, like, oh, I have a 71%, I'll be fine. You might not get in. So you want to make sure you're going into that. And they use a 5-class formula when looking at your classes. So not every class counts. They'll only pick like one English, for example. They'll pick one math. So if you've taken pre-calc, foundations, and calculus 30, they'll pick the one of those that has the highest score, just so you're aware. Kinesiology, you want bio 30, chem 30, or physics 30. I recommend both chemistry and physics, especially if you're looking into some type of like non-direct entry medical college. And then foundations or pre-calc 30, I recommend pre-calc 30, if not calculus 30 in general, because you will be taking a university calculus class. Early admissions is 90%. You have to do that again, December 1st. Or regular admissions is 80% by February 15th. For both of these programs, if you're taking physical education 30, it can be used to calculate your average. When they go to look at this formula, they try and make it so that it works with you. It gives you the best grade they possibly can. Going on to the combined program, similar requirements: Bio 30, Chem 30, or Physics 30. I recommend both. Foundations or Pre-Calc 30. I recommend Pre-Calc 30, if not Calc 30. There is no early admissions. You must apply by February 15th. There's only 30 seats available. This is a competitive program. This is a new program. If you're thinking about this, you should probably look into applying for it. And you can set either kinesiology or education as your second or third option there. Going on to tuition here. Really briefly touching upon this. This is a estimated tuition, assuming 30 credit units in the fall and the winter, just so you're aware. So it's very likely it could be lower than this, depending on your personal class choices or the number of classes you take or your circumstances. USask has a lot of scholarship opportunities to offset this cost. And at St. Peter's College, our students get to keep those scholarships and they get ours as well. So last year, we averaged $1,800 per applicant. So our students got almost an additional $2,000 on average to be able to attend university. So that really offsets some of the cost. Our tuition at St. Peter's College is quite similar to USask. It's basically the same, to be completely honest with you. One of the biggest differences, though, is that our student fees are much less, around a third the cost. And that's just because you're not paying for like a bus pass and a newspaper, which makes sense. We find that, again, because of our scholarships, our students typically graduate with a bit less debt. So if you are looking at one of these programs, I recommend you at least look into us because there's lots of money available there. So really briefly, only slide I'll have on St. Peter's College here. Why should you choose St. Peter's College? I'm, of course, a little bit biased here. University of Saskatchewan is a great institution. We work really closely with them. We just think that we're a really great place for people to start their first year. We have an average in-person class size of 16 people. For reference, our class sizes are so small, we're even open right now for in-person classes. And we're able to do that safely, meeting all the Saskatchewan Health Authority guidelines. We have those additional scholarships. Like I said, double your scholarship pools there. We have a really friendly environment. We'll help you out every step of the way. So you don't have to deal with like a robot, like voice system, like press 1 to talk to this person, press 2 to talk to this person. There'll be a person helping you out every step of the way. So you're not going to be a face in the crowd. Our students report that it's a really great transition university. They feel they're set up for success if they start at St. Peter's College. And what we find looking at our data is we have a pretty low dropout rate when we compare it to the national or provincial averages. And we kind of credit the extra money, the small class size is the extra assistance there with that. And you can spend the first year here with quite a few programs. We offer 70 plus pathways, and some of them which are from other universities. So if like you're looking at University of Regina, you could probably do some of that here. So really briefly, I'll come back to this in a second. If you want more information, you can email us, you can phone us, or you can visit our website at the bottom. We have a couple social medias. We also have a YouTube that's not on there as well. I recommend that you do follow us just to keep up to date with everything that we're doing. Send us an email if you want to get part of an email train, stuff like that. I'll come back to this in 1 second. We are doing an open house, an in-person open house, meeting COVID-19 guidelines. So if you are thinking that you're interested in St. Peter's College or University of Saskatchewan more, you can come and experience the college firsthand for yourself. COVID-19 guidelines will be followed. This is on November 21st, so Saturday at 1 p.m. Registration is required. So if you're thinking about this, go to our website and register for it now. It's very limited seating because we got to meet the COVID-19 guidelines. So that means a limited number of people in there. But going back to this, if you do have a question, feel free to contact us as one of those ways. But I thank you guys for attending our session here. Like I said, I tried to keep it short and brief here, just to make sure you're able to get back to your lunch or your schoolwork or whatever else was that you're doing. If you do have a question, I'll be available by that phone number here for the next 10 minutes. So have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone. Again, if you have a question, you can phone me right now and I'll be available for you.